Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. So, my name is Kianti Kinar, and today I would like to present my mini research about the impact of technological and social media advances on Gen Z values, behaviors, and experiences, a comparison with previous generation, which is the millennials, in the next 1 to 10 minutes. No, I'm sorry, 5 to 10 minutes. Next, so I have divided my presentation into four. The first one is research question and research objectives. The second one is about the Gen Z and the millennials. The third one is about the research results, and the last one is about the conclusions. Next, so I've got three previous research. The first one is from Giarla in 2019, and the title is Generational Social Media: How Social Media Influences the Online and In-Person Relationship of Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. And the research findings of this research is the impact of social media consumption on Gen Z consumers' attitudes toward shoppings and brands, and the importance of understanding the evolving landscape of social media consumption. And the second one is from Sirbanescu in 2022, and the title is Millennials and the Gen Z in the Era of Social Media. And the research findings is Generation Z is the generation that uses social media the most. Generation Z has superior skills to navigate the online world, and Generation Z struggle to communicate efficiently in person. And the last previous research is from Yusuf, Harun, Norizan, Durani, Jamil, and Saleh in 2018 with the title The Influence of Social Media Consumption on Gen Z Consumers' Attitude. The research findings is about the negative consequences of new media effects on Generation Z and individualism over the community, and developing about on phone addicts. And my research is about the impact of technological and social media advances on Gen Z values, behaviors, and experiences, a comparison with previous generation, which is the millennials. And my research objective is to identify how the adoption of social media and technological advances has influenced Gen Z's values and behaviors, and a comparison to the millennial generation, focusing on changes in communication patterns and online interactions. Next, so here are my research question and my research objective. My research question is, how have the adoption of social media and technological advances impacted the values and behaviors of Gen Z in contrast to the millennial generation, with a particular emphasis on changes in communication patterns and online interactions? And my research objectives is to identify how the adoption of social media and technological advances has influenced Gen Z's values and behaviors in comparison to the millennial generation, focusing on change in communication patterns and online interactions. And now I would like to tell you about what is Gen Z. So Gen Z is the generation of young people who born from 1995 to 2013. They basically grew up with smartphones and the internet that going so fast, and they are care about issues like social justice and the environment by Gyarla 2019. And what is millennials? Millennials, also known as Generation Y, are the generation that came of age around the turn of the 21st century. They were typically born between 1977 to 1994, also by Gyarla 2019. Next is I would like to explain my research findings. The result of social media that Gen Z and millennial often use. As you can see here, that 53.5% of my Respondents, but both of my respondents, either Gen Z and Millennial, choose Instagram as their social media that both of them often use. It means Instagram is one of the popular social media either in Gen Z and Millennials era. And here are the results of other social media that Gen Z and Millennial often use. Not just Instagram, in 60%, my respondents choose WhatsApp as a social media that they also often use. It means WhatsApp also one of the popular social media among both of these generations. Okay, first statement, I care about sustainability issues such as mental health, climate change, and environmental conservation. And you can see 51.4% of my millennials respondent agree about this statement, and also 87.7% of my Gen Z respondents agree about this statement, which means both of this generation care about sustainability issues such as mental health, climate change, and environmental conservation, which is a good thing for both of these generations. Next statement is I feel that social media and technology have played an important role in mobilizing support and awareness on issues like mental health, climate change, and environmental conservation. And you can see that 63.5% of my millennial respondents disagree about this statement, while 45.9% of my Gen Z respondents agree about this statement, which means that Gen Z is half, which means Gen Z use social media and technology in a good way because they mobilizing support and awareness on issues like mental health, climate change, and environmental conservation by using technology and social media. Next slide. So the statement is I experience social pressure regarding beauty standards or body goals through social media. And you can see that 90.4% of my millennial respondents disagree about this statement, and 9 and 59.3% of my Gen Z respondents agree about this statement, which means that Gen Z is the one who have been through a lot in experiencing social pressure regarding beauty standard or body goals through social media. Well, millennial, just a little bit of millennials that have experienced social pressure regarding beauty standard or body goals through social media based on my research. Next is the use of technology has affected the way I communicate with my family and friends. For example, sending each other WhatsApp messages despite being in the same room or place. And you can see that 85.1% of my millennial respondents disagree about this statement, while 85% of my Gen Z respondents agree about this statement. And you can see that Gen Z focusing on how they interaction in online, and it's bad because their social interaction is lack and affected on the way how they communicate with their family and friends because they sending each other WhatsApp messages despite being in the same room or place, which is a bad thing. Next statement is I would like to have a job that allows me to work remotely or have work flexibility. And you can see that 83.8% of my millennial respondents disagree about this statement, while 68.8% of my Gen Z respondents agree about this statement, which means that I'm sorry, which means that Gen Z has affected by the issues that happened few years ago, which is COVID-19 or Corona, that made them shoot interaction in online. I'm sorry. So that's why Gen Z agree about this statement because they feel more comfortable because they they've been through this for three no I'm sorry for the full 2 years the interaction in online, uh, either study or work from home. Next statement is I feel that my values and views are different from the next generation, which is Gen Z with the millennial and millennial with the Gen Z. And you can see that 78.1% of my millennial respondents agree about this statement, and 93.8% of my Gen Z respondent also agree about this statement. It means how both of this generation feel that their values and views are different from each others, and and it and this is and this is not a bad thing because they have a different views of how they look out outside the world, and that's okay. Next is a question. How often do you feel stressed or anxious because of social media pressure, such as fear of missing out on information and having to keep up with every social media trend? And you can see that 85.1% of my millennial respondent choose detractors, and 49.4% of my Gen Z respondent also choose detractors in this question. It means it's such a good things because they don't fear of missing out on information or having to keep up with social media trend that will make them feel stressed or anxious. It's such a good it's such a good things because why would we feel stressed or anxious because of social media pressure or social media trend that going outside our real world? I'm sorry, I mean our real life. The next question is, do social media and technology affect your sleep patterns? And you can see that 74.2% of my millennial respondents choose detractors, while 49.4% of my Gen Z respondents choose passive. It means that my millennial respondent didn't affected by social media and technology of how about their sleep patterns. But on my Gen Z respondent, most of them, their sleep pattern has affected by social media and technology. And the last question is, do you feel social media has affected the quality of your social relationship in the real world? And 98.6% of my millennial respondents said that they can control themselves so that the quality of their social relationship in the real world is not affected by technology and social media. While my Gen Z respondents say that yes, sometimes they focus more on their phone than a live conversation. It's such a bad thing for Gen Z because why you can control yourself, and it affect your social relationship in the real world. It's such a bad thing because why phone or social media or technology affected the quality of your social relationship. I hope in the future, Gen Z will realize that social relationship is such an important thing. Okay, last slide is conclusion. I conclude my presentation into 3 points. So the first one is Gen Z and millennials perceive differences in their values and worldviews. The second one is the two generations hold distinct perspective and priorities. And the last one is generational differences prove that each generation grew up in a different socio-cultural and technological context. And yep, I think that's all for me. I'm sorry if there's any mistaken. I'm Kianti Kinar, and have a great day. Thank you.